So, I heartily welcome to all of you in today's Managerial Economics online academic counseling class on the behalf of the IGNOU Renal Center, Lucknow. Really, I'm so happy all of you are the very regular in attending this counseling class, and shortly, my more learners will also join. Dear learner, we in previous classes we discussed the various aspects of the managerial economics. Today we are going to discuss about the important aspect of the managerial economics and related to the demand, that is demand forecasting and the cost aspect. Now I am going to share the content. Students, today we will discuss the demand forecasting, how the demand forecasting is very, very important in today's era. When we are in the era of the liberalization, privatization, and globalization, we must know very well how the demand forecasting is very important. Here, we will take care of the demand estimation, demand forecasting, features of the demand forecasting, why demand forecasting is the necessary, demand forecasting process, and the determinants of the demand forecasting, methods of demand forecasting. As you all know, if you are working in any corporate, especially in the production unit, you always determine the quantity that you are going to produce in the near future. So you need to determine the accurate quantity that your organization will produce. If you are working in service sector, then to how many pupils you are going to render the services. So it is very important, my learners, to very accurately forecast, estimate the demand. Estimating the future demand for the product, either existing or new, is a significant task for the managerial economist. A manager need to have information about likely future demand of its product to enable the firm to produce the required quantities of a product at right time and arrange well in advance for the various inputs. All of you know these are the main inputs of the production: labor, raw material, machine, and you know the management and the money. Both two are also the important. According to demand forecasting, how much quantity you will produce, if you know that specific quantity, only then you are in the position to manage these various inputs. Labor means labor human resources. On differentiate policy means some very qualified human being required, how many workers are required, how many supervisors are required, means as per the requirement of the your production you hire. And raw material for a specific quantity, how much raw material is used, you also manage accordingly. Machines, because each machine have a specific capacity. Suppose if one machine is producing the 100 unit for a day, and if you want to produce 1,000 unit in a day, then automatically 10 machines required. As well as to pursue the optimal pricing strategy, demand estimation, demand forecasting is the very essential. Learners, when we talk about the, especially the demand forecasting, managers forecast the most likely future demand of a product so that we make necessary arrangement for the various factors as we discuss the inputs of the production. Demand forecasting tells the expected level of the demand at some future date of the basis of the past and present information. If I will ask to my learners, one very important forecasting is popular in our country, not in the country, in the whole world. You can tell me what is forecasting? Every day we update ourselves from the newspaper or the electronic media. What type of the forecasting? Anyone? One type of the forecasting is very very popular. Whenever you are going to organize an event or when you are going anywhere, you always take care of that forecasting. uh, okay, learner, the demand forecasting, just the weather forecasting. Every day our newspaper and the electronic media update us um, about the weather. Weather is also the very important now. Many times lot of the hazards come, but when timely our disaster management team know, then manage very effectively. In the same way, when we know how much demand in coming future, then automatically our managerial economist manage the things very accurately and very effectively. The demand estimation and forecasting means when, how, where, by whom, and how much will be the demand for the product. These are the very essential words, learners. When, how, where, and whom, and how much demand. As earlier we discussed about the various aspects of the demand. Suppose if any beggars is demanding the 10 cars, that is not the demand for the market because beggars is not the purchasing power of the product. Um, so it is very important when we are estimating the demand, then demand estimation and the forecasting means when, how, where, by whom, and how much will be the demand for the product or service in near future. This is the very essential. If you want to success in the manufacturing or any market where you are working, uh, the degree of the accurate data, how much degree you have on the following points: when, how, where, by whom, and how much will be the demand for the product or service in the near future. This accuracy will determine the success of the business. If you are more accurate data, definitely, my learners, you will achieve the success. If you have not very accurate data, it means you are ready to fail. The process of the demand estimation, forecasting can be broken into the two parts. One is the analysis of the past conditions and analysis of the current conditions with reference to a probable future trend. It helps in estimating the most likely demand of a product or service under given business conditions. When we go ahead and with various important aspects of the demand, the main features of the demand forecasting, how the demand forecasting work, what are the various characteristics, what are the various nature. Because when an economist accurately forecast the demand, it means he's a good businessman. The main features of the demand forecasting are: number one, demand forecasting is a process to investigate and measure the forces that determine sales for existing and new product. Okay, we can say demand forecasting is process to investigate and measure the forces that determine sales for existing and new product. On the what are the various factors on that the our cells depends, and how we are going to measure the effectively our demand. And second, it is an estimation of the most likely future demand for a product under given business conditions. And it is basically an educated and well thought out guesswork in the term of the specific quantities. Yes, this is the guess. Many times our economists use the word please guess accurately. Guess this never this is the very scientific way to determine, but this is the mathematical way. And demand forecasting is done in an uncertain business environment. Learners, as you all know, the business environment is very dynamic. If I will ask to you why the business environment is very dynamic, then what you will reply? If I will ask to you, the business environment is very, very dynamic, what you will reply? Is
Sir, because
missing
it
my.
fluctuates, sir. Business environment always fluctuates. So my
Yeah,
macro level fluctuates. So that reason totally dynamic, what we can say, sir.
okay, okay. Really, you are saying the very correct word, learner. The demand forecasting is done in an uncertain business environment because various factors like fashion, trend, pricing, the taste of the customer, and the taste of the customer, and what are the various fluctuations in the market. They all are not in constant in nature. They generally not in fixed in the nature. They constantly change. So we can say this is the uncertain business environment. You will take example during the 2 year of the COVID, many businesses not registered the profit. Why? Because they not got the business. Learners, when we go ahead and when we talk, the demand forecasting is done for a specific period of time. Yes, suppose for the 6 month, for the 1 year, for quarterly, etc. You determine the demand forecasting. That's why the demand forecasting is done for the specific period of time. If there is no specific period of time, this is not the effective demand forecasting. It is based on the historical and the present information and data. As earlier we discussed, we have need the past information, present information. On the basis of the past and present, we will find out the future forecasting. We will do the future forecasting. It is important you have the data. Without some data, you can't forecast. Otherwise, you must contact to the various statistical survey organization. They will help you. It tells us only the approximate expected future demand for the product based on the certain assumptions and cannot be 100% precise. A question arises why the organizations or the manufacturing unit or the service units go for the demand forecasting. Suppose I want to know from your side why economists go for the demand forecasting. Please, I hope all of you understand. Please tell me why the demand forecasting is essential for the organization. Please, here clear cut
For a
mention. Yeah,
Sir, for
please.
production point of view, how much we can demand, how much we can produce based on that. The demand forecasting only tells us to go for production, how much we can produce or not.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very good. At business, it done in an uncertain and risky business environment, and the managers have to take the decision under uncertain and risky conditions. Demand forecasting helps the managers in forecasting the most likely future sale of the product, and accordingly, manager plan their production, arrange various input like labor, material, capital, and technique, etc. Prepare future budgets and formulate various marketing and supply chain strategies or policies to achieve the budgeted target. Because when you do the demand forecasting, then you prepare a future economic policy of your organization. Because this is not the who will take care of the demand forecasting. The managerial economist will take the care of the demand forecasting. A businessman will taking care of this thing, not the HR people. Who is taking care of the production unit. We can say in the short run, demand forecasting helps in determining the optimum level of the output at the various period of to avoid under or overproduction. Learners, when any organization is doing the production, under and overproduction both are the very harmful for the organization on revenue point of view. Suppose if you are doing the underproduction, it means we are not utilizing our machinery, our human resource in best manner. If overproduction, suppose if we are doing the overproduction, it means as per the market demand, we are unable to supply as per the market demand, our product is not consumed. That is also very much harmful. You need to store in the godowns, etc. A lot of the expenses occur. We can say it helps in better inventory management of buying input and control its inventory level, which cut down overall cost of the production. A balanced pricing policy can be formulated to suit short run and the seasonal variation in demand. When we talk about the long term demand for the product of a firm is forecasting generally for the period of 4 to 6 or the 10 year, around 4 year or up to the 6 year, up to the 10 year. Means more than 4 year and around 10 year. As forecasting come under the long run demand forecasting. Because always when you determine your vision, mission, and objective of the organization, you take care of the future 20, 30 year. It involves the large scale production as well as the long gestation period. Accordingly, firm can play long run financial requirement. Suppose if you know today I need to give the 4 unit to my customer, and tomorrow I need to give 10 unit to the customer, and after 1 month this quantity increase very drastically. Accordingly, what is your demand, estimated demand, the forecasting you've done? Accordingly, you do the all the managerial work in planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling that is related to your production. Trained and the skilled labor and the business managers may be needed in long run. Thus, demand forecasting also helps in preparing long-term manpower, planning for imparting the training to the existing staff, and recruit the skilled and efficient labor force and executives for its long-run growth. Because time to time, as you all know, learners in any organization, there are the various type of the functional areas. Who will tell me the various functional areas of the management? What are the various functional areas of the management? Anyone? Functional areas. Okay.
Sir, planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, and directing.
Thank you, Ladna. These are the important functions of the management. When anybody asks the functional areas, we should reply financial management, marketing management, human resource management, and information technology management, machinery management, etc. It means where our management discipline work. Suppose if demand is more, this is interlinked with the various department of the organization. Suppose if demand is much more, then finances also we need the finance. We need the more and more human resources. Our information technology team also work more. It means everything is interconnected. You can't say only this is concerned with the production. No, this is concerned with the human resource management also. If more and more you need to fulfill the demand of the customer, you need the trained and skilled labor. So you need to render the more and more training only. And then you are in the position to cater the requirement of the human resource. Many times one question arises how this demand forecasting work. Learners, the demand forecasting is very important, and this the process is specifying the objective of the demand forecasting. For what is the purpose of the demand forecasting? For what you are doing the demand forecasting, determining the nature of the goods, determining the time perspective, and determine the label of the forecasting, and what are the two more? Selection of the proper method of the technique of the forecasting, data collection and modification, data analysis and estimation. This is a very scientific and very good process. First is the specifying the objective of the demand forecasting. While the forecasting demand, one may have the different objectives like quantity, and composition of the demand, price to be quoted, production planning, inventory planning, or capital budgeting, short or long term demand, firms market share, etc. When you are doing the demand forecasting, you must be specify being economist, what is your main focus area. The objective for which demand is to be estimated must be clear and defined at the first step. This is the very important. You must clear for what you are doing the demand for forecasting, for knowing the quantity, what the quantity you need to sell, or for knowing the inventory planning. What is your purpose? Must be clear. Clear your goal you will achieve shortly. Determining the nature of the good. The next step in the demand forecasting is identification of the types of the goods at different type of as the consumer goods, capital goods, industrial goods, durable and the non-durable goods, as you all know very well. And perishable or the seasonal goods have the different type of the demand pattern. This will help in the applying the right approach to the demand estimation process. Determining the time perspective, depending upon the nature of the goods and firm's objective, the demand can be forecasted for the short term as well as long term. Recently, we discussed about the long term. Who will tell me what do you mean by the long term forecasting? Long term. Long term forecasting, just we discussed, when we take the forecasting from 4 year to 6 year or 10 year. And normally the short term up to the 3 year. Or six short term is up to the 6 month or 1 year, and medium term is the 2 or 3 years. Okay, here this is the clearly mentioned this. The time period is normally divided into short run up to the 3 to 6 month, medium term 2 or 3 years, and long term beyond the 3 or the 5 year. Determining the level of the forecasting, this is also the important. Demand forecasting may be undertaken at the micro or the firm level, industry level, macro level, or the international level. Learners, all of you know, the particular firm is working on different levels. Suppose you all are in Lucknow and working in the Lucknow jurisdiction, then you need to take care of the demand forecasting at the Lucknow level only. But if your particular business is running across the Uttar Pradesh, you need to do the whole Uttar Pradesh, and if the country India, then whole all state will be covered. So according to the what level your forecasting is necessary, you will take care, and accordingly you will produce the particular product. Otherwise, you will not get the accurate result, and when you will not get the accurate result, automatically uh, economists will not take any benefit from demand forecasting. Only this is the wastage of the money. Selection of the proper method of the technique of the forecasting, which type of the methods or technique you are using, this that is also important. Data collection and modification, depending upon the objective and the method of the forecasting. This is very important how you are going to collect the data. Demand forecasting is to collect the required data. There are different methods of collection of the primary data. Primary data can be collected from the various way, like observation, interview, survey, or questionnaire, or focus group discussion methods. Uh, these are the various ways of the collection of the data. Suppose if you are the good economist, you are just observing the market, you will collect the data. You are the economist, you take the personal interview of the various prospective customer or the existing customers. You will know the various important data related to the demand, surveys, questionnaire, and focus group discussion method also. Many times, all of you seen when you visit to any specific mall, there are the lot of the marketing people request to you, please fill my questionnaire, and that is also the very important tool for the data collection. Focus group discussion methods. Many times the experts are sit together and discuss. That is also the important. Data can also be collected from the various secondary sources, but this data required modification as it may not be available in the required mode. Yes, lot of the data we collect primary level, but as you all know, data also need to the process. Without processing of the data, no any information will be reflected. So, required the modification, data analysis and estimation. By the various statistical tool, you can analyze the data, and on the basis of that data, you will find the important forecasting and estimation. One question arises: what are the various determinants of the demand? When we talk about the various determinants, means how what are the various factors they determine the demand forecasting or influence the demand forecasting. Different type of the goods has the different determinants. Broadly, goods can classified as the capital good, durable and non-durable consumer goods, and factors determining the demand of these goods are discussed below. Capital goods, factory building, machinery, equipment, tools, etc. These are the capital goods. Have derived demand as demand of these goods depends upon demand of the consumer, goods, industry, growth rate, level of the capital, a capacity utilization, wage rate, and size of the market. The demand for these goods comprises of the replacement demand and new demand, and one should consider growth potential of the industry per unit consumption norms and velocity of their use in estimating demand of capital goods. Demand for the consumer durable, and these are the various like refrigerator, furniture, ready-made garments, TV, computer, etc. Depends upon the social status. How this demand forecasting influenced by the social status, prestige level of the money, income, and this ablutions rate, maintenance cost, ability of the road, petrol, and the supply of electricity. Suppose if these are the various, we are doing the forecasting of the consumer durable goods. Non-durable consumers goods are consumed once only: milk, food, vegetables, fruits, medicines, etc. And the demand is affected by the disposal income or purchasing power of the household. Methods of the demand forecasting. As we know very well, the survey methods, consumer survey methods. Under the survey method, means how you are going to collect the data that is related to the decision making. Survey methods. A lot of the economists recommended the survey method is very popular method. The demand forecasting method can be broadly classified. One is the survey, and second is the statistical methods. Different method of the demand estimation have been presented below. Survey methods are generally used in short term and estimating the demand for the new products. In survey methods, information about the future purchase plans of potential buyers are collected through direct interview or potential consumers or experts' opinion. Yes, lot of these surveys done. The different approaches under survey methods are approaches. Number one is the consumer survey method. This Under this method, efforts are made to collect the relevant information directly from the consumers with regard to their future purchase plans. We go ahead. Collective opinion methods, self-force opinion, or and reaction survey method. This is also very popular. And the variant of the survey method of the collective opinion method, also known as the Salesforce polling or opinion poll method, the reaction survey method. In this method, instead of the customer, salesman, marketing manager, production manager, professional experts, and the market consultant and other are asked to express their considered opinion about the volume of the sales expected in the future. As you know, this is the very clearly mentioned the sales force opinion. मीन्स जो लोग मार्केट में हमारे प्रोडक्ट को सेल करने में अपनी मदद कर रहे हैं, हम उनके विषय में भी जानने का प्रयास करते हैं कि वो उनका क्या व्यू है. This is also the very important and the expert opinion method, और इसको डेल्फी मेथड कहते हैं, जो स्पेसिफिक एरिया है उसके एक्सपर्ट्स से बात करना, पूछना. Suppose if you are doing the demand forecasting of the specific medicine, we need to discuss from doctors community. They are take care of that specific diseases. Suppose if you are doing the demand forecasting in the insurance sector, we must talk to the insurance professionals, actuarial sciences, actuarial sciences people. Only they are in the position to express the exactly this demand. Suppose if you are doing demand forecasting in the for the medical sector, and you are asking the expert from the farming sector, no, wrong. Market studies and the experiments. This is also the important. Another way of the collecting the present and the future market information of the product, to conduct the market and experimental study to investigate the consumer behavior under the given environment. Under this method, the companies first select some market or cities having the similar features, population, income, culture, social, or the religious factors, a lot of the common factors. Then carry out the market experiment by changing price, quality, packing, advertisement, expenditure, or the other control demand determinants under the assumption that other things remain constant. Means market studies. Experts study the market and various experiments done by experts also in market. Statistical methods, as you all study one paper in your MBA, business statistics, quantitative techniques. Then statistical method is also helpful, like secular trend, seasonal trend, cyclical trend, random or the irregular trends, probability. These are very important statistical tool that used by business community to find out the forecasting. Graphical methods, how the things are represented in graph. Suppose this sales data of the X, Y, and Z company. Learner, year 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, and till 15. If you will take care of this, if you see the cells in rupees lakhs in the 2005, the 20 lakh cells, in 2006 the 22, and in 2007 the 21. This increased, and this 1 lakh is the decrease. Here, this in 2005 this, and 2006 is 22, and 2007 again the data decrease, and 2008 25, 2009 28, and 2010 24, 2011 30, 2012 28, 2013 31, 2014 35, and 30. This is the fluctuation. It means what graph is representing the trend projection of the cells of the XYZ company. Up and down is going on. Just 1 year or after 2 year, the sales decrease. Okay, this is the very helpful when you are doing the demand forecasting, because general people or economists and various policymakers feel very happy when they got in front of their eyes such type of the graphs and the figures. Sales data of the XYZ company. This 2005 to 2015, sales 2022 in lakhs, and 2015 just 30. Average sales first half and first half means 20, 22 and 28. This 23, 24 and 30 एवरेज सेल्स किस प्रकार से औसत विक्रय हमारे इस अवधि का रहा है। तो जो इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं दे विल टेक द appropriate decision. This is also shown here. Moving average method is also the very popular. Moving average method is very widely used in the practice. Under this method, moving average is calculated. One has to decide what moving year average, 3 year or 5 year or 7 years should be taken up, and it depends upon the periodicity of the data. Moving average. This again, the 3 year moving average. These are the very interesting statistical techniques. That's why you will all requested from my side, give the more and more emphasis on your stats. This is stats helpful in every places. 3 year moving average trend of the cells, LS square method. Trend line using least square method, biometric or economic indicators method, and demand forecasting for the new product. So learners, by this, all of you are in the position to do the effective demand forecasting, opinion poll approach, sales experience approach, growth curve approach, and uh, various type of the methods you can use in determining the demand forecasting. So, dear learners, I hope you are know the various important concept of the demand forecasting. Yes, yeah, no.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good.
Yes, sir.
You know, great. Uh, Soon we will discuss some important aspect that is related to your costing also. Costing. If I will ask you, uh, what are the broader classification of the costing? What you will reply? What are the broader classification of costing? What you will reply? Anytime you listen the name of the fixed costing and variable costing, fixed costing and variable costing. स्थिर लागत और परिवर्तनशील लागत से आप क्या समझते हैं? Anyone? If I will ask you, this is the fixed cost, this is the variable cost, what do you understand? Anyone? I will ask you, what do you mean by fixed cost? What you will reply?
Sir, fixed cost that will not change for certain limits. Fixed cost that will not change for certain limits. Variable cost will change from output to outputs.
Okay, very good. Variable cost. Being economist, suppose if you are just starting the production, which type of the cost is needed more and more in your organization? If you just started your production,
Variable cost, sir.
variable cost. Definitely variable, more and more fixed costs required at the initial stage of the any organization. More and more fixed cost required in any organization. Suppose if there are the various type of the markets, all of you are listen the perfect competition, monopoly, and different other type of the market. Is all of you listen about the monopoly? What do you mean by the monopoly company, monopoly market? Monopoly market. No. Monopoly means when the
Single
manufacturer,
seller, sir.
Sir,
please learner.
when the market is controlled
Single
by the
seller.
single commercial organization.
Seller.
Yes, when the market is completely is only one manufacturer or the seller are taking the full control of the market. Whenever he want to increase the prices of the product and no any other more competitors in the market. That is the very much tough in market if monopoly is always harmful for the any organization. Monopoly always harmful for any organization. Never you emphasis give the any importance for the monopoly. Monopoly is not good. In the costing point of view, when you will study further, the term cost have the various concepts like the monopoly cost, money cost, opportunity cost, and the real cost. Suppose when any economist take the decision, he always take care of the this type of the costing, total cost. Suppose if anybody asks what do you mean by the total cost, you must reply the total cost equal to explicit cost and the implicit cost. What is the opportunity cost? The concept of the opportunity cost was first developed by the Australian School of the Economist. Opportunity cost means what are the various opportunities available with you. You are just using the big opportunity that is the helpful for your organization. So now I request to my learners if you have any further question on the demand forecasting. You must ask, otherwise I will ask to you. Please. Yes.
Sir, what is the method of least square?
Yeah. Learner, this list square method is a statistical way. There are the various type of the statistics tool, like the trend analysis. In same way, the list square is also the one statistical way by forecasting the future demand of your organization, what you are producing, the services or the product. That's one statistical tool. In
Sir,
detail,
how it is used?
definitely how they use. Okay, just a minute. This learner, the least square method. This the fitting train equation, or popularly known as least square method, is a scientific, formal, and popular method of projecting the trend line. Specifically, this project the trend, how the trend is going on. In this method, a trend line is fitted with the help of straight line, a regression equation. It means again the other important tools of the statistical use here. This. Where the S is the annual sales, T is the time, and A and B are the constant. The coefficient A and B are calculated by solving following two equations. This. That's why the economics is sometimes the numerical also. You need this. Now, suppose here the sales of the XYZ company. In order to fit the trend line, the computed sales value SC are to be plotted on the graph paper as given in figure 4. Year, sales, and this the you tabulated T2 ST to sales value. The least square method is also very popular method used in demand forecasting because it is very easy and less expensive method. I suggest my learner from the books of the stats, you solve the 2-3 examples of the least square method. That is very much helpful to you. This trend line using the least square method. Trend projection cells of the XYZ company. This 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and this year 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 15. Trend line using least square. Suppose if any general people who not know the stats, by this line what you are getting? Learner, by this line what message you are getting?
Sales is increasing year by year.
Correct. Sales is increasing year by year. It means you have the data of the all the previous year. From the 2005, of the 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and 10 to to 15. Trend line using. What is the trend is going on? It means if we increase the production capacity, we hire the skilled and the good labor. That is the beneficial for my organization, because the particular trend of that specific product is in increasing trend. How you know? By the least square method. Learner, least square method is the statistical tool, but you can also forecast the demand by the survey, by the poll, by the expert opinion, by discussion, etc. This is one way to find out, but there are the various also. But always suggest my learners and the person, if the things are based on the numerical facts, that is more authentic and accurate. So maximum economists if use this way of doing the projection of the statical, that is much more helpful. And that's why you must understand the various trend analysis and others also. I hope, learner, you come to know the facts. I hope all of you submitted your assignment timely.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Always welcome. Yes, always welcome. But I suggest to all of you, suppose these are the various methods, you refer any statistics book and you just learn the concept and take the one example. And that example in the examination, when you put this example, then your answer will become more and more valuable. I hope today your next academic counseling also schedule. No any class further?
You're having, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Great. Anytime you can ask if you have any query on my WhatsApp group also, when you have any question further. I think the next counselor ma'am also join us. You heartily welcome to ma'am also.
Thank you.
Numbers, when we will meet in further class, we will discuss the various pricing strategies and market. My class will schedule in future. Pricing and various markets where the pricing is determined. Thank you so much for patience listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you all.